But I know who is talking. It's our Couri Hay, and today he's lunching at New York's fashionable River Cafe. Couri, last time you said that you had some rather unflattering gossip about Linda Evans.
That's right, Martha. Here I am under the Brooklyn Bridge at the scenic River Cafe, silhouetted by the dazzling New York skyline. This is where I dine with the King and Queen of Sweden, and where Barbra Streisand once tried to strangle a photographer who tried to shoot a picture of her. But enough history. Let's prattle about the present. Luscious Linda Evans is troubled by unsightly bunions. Yes, it's true. Linda has big bumps on the first joints of her big toes, and she herself admits, Couri, my feet in sandals look pretty sad. Take heart, ladies. You can have boy's hips, a square jaw, and bunions and still be a star. Linda does have one beauty secret she left out of her beauty book, low-cal beer from Manila. She downs 3 or 4 bottles of Lager Light every night and says it's her favorite beverage. And Linda gets all she can drink free compliments of the beer's brewers. She has an exclusive supply. The beer isn't available here in the States. William Catt, whose popularity on the series The Great American Hero has made him a hero in Japan. He will get $500,000 to tout Kirin beer on television there. Mickey Rooney is taking sugar babies to Tokyo, and in September, he's hired a private instructor to teach him the language. Mickey's got a yen to ad-lib some of his gags in Japanese. His wife, Jan, a beautiful blonde country and western singer who always bills herself as Mrs. Mickey Rooney, has her own pet project. She's pushing a $25 wrinkle remover called Mrs. Mickey Rooney's Foundation of Youth Cream that she says makes you look 10 years younger, or your money back. Younger than who? Mickey, I hope. Diana Ross agreed to lend her name to a line of hosiery, but the day before the company planned to ship the first 50,000 pairs, Diana changed her mind. Now she says she doesn't like the colors, the crotches, or the picture of her in the package, even though it's the same one she gave them, so she's backing out of the deal. To win Diana over, manufacturers sent her a $1,200 case of Louis Roederer Cristal champagne. And they're still waiting for a thank you. The lady was in touch only to say she'd sue if any merchandise was shipped without her approval. Ooh, naughty, naughty. Diana's protege, Michael Jackson, is planning to peddle a line of clothing with his gal pal, Brooke Shields, and nothing comes between Brooke and her Billie Jeans, except maybe Michael.
Couri, this time I think you've gone too far.
Breakaway.
Yes, she certainly has, and the excitement is going to continue right now, even though our Couri Hay is at home today in his Manhattan townhouse in New York City. Couri, what's this at the piano? Liberace, eat your heart out.
Hi, Martha. Hello, Norman. After being ignored by the Academy Awards nominating committee, Barbra Streisand arrived in Paris on a somewhat bitter note with the Parisian premiere of her film, Yentl. The French were shocked when Barbra refused to be photographed by fewer than 10 reporters at a time and barred photographers from taking her picture. But the pièce de résistance came when Barbra told a French official not to allow red or yellow flowers to be put in her hotel room because she said they gave her migraines. Speaking of prima donnas, director Francis Ford Coppola's nephew, Nicolas Cage, refused to do a few retakes for his role in his uncle's film, Cotton Club, starring Richard Gere, unless he was paid $90,000 for the extra work. Uncle Frank wouldn't blow any more on his already overblown film, and he hired a stand-in. Joan Collins' 12-year-old daughter, Katie Cass, has asked her mom to get her a part on Dynasty. Katie, who so far unfortunately looks more like her father than her mother, will have to settle for a walk-on next season. There's been a Boy George backlash against crinolines and corsets. Princess Di, not a very trendy type before now, is suddenly looking very masculine, even butch, in her teddy boy suits from the 50s, perhaps an overreaction to being pregnant. And Ava Gabor, who's certainly not pregnant, has abandoned her diamonds and furs in favor of tailored shirts and neckties. Ava has cut off all of her curls and is looking very dapper these days in Gucci smoking tuxedos. Now she and Merv Griffin shop together, adding to the rumor that they're a new two, like Tatum O'Neal and law student Brad Blank, who had been hand-holding in Manhattan. And it's on again, off again for Melissa Gilbert and Rob Lowe. Recently, she's been out in the town with comedian Pat Harrington's son, Mike. Britt Eklund found her true love, Slim Jim McDonald of the rock group Stray Cats, and to celebrate her marriage, she has had workmen spray paint the trees and shrubs in her garden pink. Liberace will be in the pink next month for his debut at Radio City Music Hall. He'll be prancing up to the piano in a $100,000 pink cape covered with pearls and seashells.
Now, there is no question as to who the Academy Award winners are, and the Tinseltown tattler himself, our Couri Hay, was there last night.
And he is with us today, and looking fabulous, I might add, in your Fabrice shirt. And but Couri, isn't that the same outfit that you were wearing last night? And haven't you been home yet?
In a word, no. But, Martha Norman, it was a glamorous and historic event. Did you know the first Academy Awards were held in 1927? They started out as a luncheon, a tradition I continued yesterday, and didn't become a nighttime event until 1942. The first televised awards show was in the 1950s. Now, let's gossip about the winners and the losers. Shirley MacLaine looked beautiful and flashy in her Fabrice gown last night and confided that she's not currently romancing any man and isn't interested in a sexual relationship right now. She is no longer existing on a strictly physical plane. Shirley believes in mind over matter and is getting to know herself and her former selves through past life regressions. You can even expect a book explaining this inner voyage that will take her even further out on a limb, which was the title of her last book, which is being released this week in 1 million paperback copies. Also being reissued is her 1974 autobiography, Don't Fall Off the Mountain. The Oscar festivities have helped bring Shirley and her Terms of Endearment co-star Deborah Winger closer together. Earlier in the week, they were sitting at the same table at the nomination luncheon, chattering away like two schoolgirls. After all that publicity on the hair-pulling that went on between them, it's good to see them on better terms. And last night, they seemed to take a step towards real friendship. Deborah, also in Fabrice, said, coming together on a film is not the best way to become friends. John Travolta and I became friends long after Urban Cowboy. It will take time with Shirley, too. But I have no doubt that is starting to happen. Jack Nicholson said, I love the Academy Awards, but I've always had a better time when I know I'm not going to win, because then I'm just into the evening. I'm Mr. Hollywood. I love everybody. I'd like to win more Oscars than Walt Disney, and I'd like to win them in every category. Fat chance, Jack. And speaking of fat, Jack says he's been a pudge since he was 4 years old, so that paunch of his may be permanent. He still carries a lot of weight with the ladies, especially his lover of 11 years, actress Angelica Houston, but he's still been unable to drop the blubber he displays in Terms of Endearment. In sharp, very sharp contrast, Michael Caine showed up at the awards looking sleek and sexy after trimming an excess 30 pounds he put on for his educating reader figure. An Oscar or even a nomination can sure push up the price of a performer. Cher, who was paid $250,000 for Silkwood, is now asking a whopping $1 million from Peter Bogdanovich to star in his next movie, Mask, and he's agreed to pay it. Tom Conti's $100,000 salary for Reuben Rubin will also be up to $1 million for his next film.
Boy, Couri, what I want to hear about is all of the gossip that you gathered at your Oscar luncheon, and how about those Hollywood celebration parties you've been attending?
Martha Norman, it was champagne day and night, and I'll have the sparkling detail of the Oscar ball, Super Agent Swifty Lazar's Little Fete, and the parties at two of Hollywood's most exclusive restaurants, Spago's and Morton's. Come back to me, wishing you good gossiping. This is our Couri Hay reporting the day after.
You're wonderful, Couri. It's great to participate in your party, yeah.
Yes.
See ya.
And now Couri is coming to us from the Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum in New York City with news about an upcoming project for Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase. Couri, you and that jacket certainly do fit in at the Guggenheim Museum.
Thank you, Martha. It was designed by Jane Barnes. This innovative museum was designed by architect Frank Lloyd Wright in the 40s and opened its doors in 1959. The Guggenheim houses over 5,000 paintings and sculptures from such 20th century European and American artists as Moreau, Paul Klee, Louise Nevelson, and Pablo Picasso, whose mandolin guitar oil is in the museum's current Painting in Paris exhibition. Robert Redford had his big chase scene in 3 Days of the Condor down the Guggenheim spiral ramp, and avant-garde artist Andy Warhol and his pop works have graced the halls and walls of the museum. This fall, Andy, or rather a life-size robot of him, will head for the Broadway stage. The robot, which is currently being assembled by a group of former Walt Disney special effects wizards, will star in a show called Andy Warhol's Overexposed, a no-man's show. The mechanical Andy, programmed with the artist's own voice, will talk, answer questions from the audience, and gossip. Everybody's getting into the gossip game. Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn will interact with a Japanese robot made for the film version of the 1960s Hanna-Barbera TV cartoon, The Jetsons. Chevy will portray the bumbling George Jetson, and Goldie will co-star as his wife, Jane. The roles of daughter Judy, Boyle Elroy, George's boss, Cosmo Spacely, and the family dog, Astro, are still up in the air. Joanna Carson, who will soon be about $35 million richer, is also up in the air about her forthcoming autobiography, with tell-all chapters on soon-to-be ex-husband, Johnny. Joanna's astrologer put the idea in her head when she told her, I see a book in your future. But now Joanna, a Pisces, is jetting back and forth to New York City for consultations with the seer about where and when to pen the pages. Brooke Shields, who always goes by the advice of her loving mother, Terry, has just signed with Random House to write Putting It All Together, a how-to book on beauty and boyfriends for high school and college girls. The guide to having it all be filled with Brooke's insightful experiences with parents, school, and career decisions. At only 19, Brooke has lived more than almost anybody I know. The A-Team's Dirk Benedict is telling his life story in an autobiography he calls Kamikaze Cowboy, with a little help from editor William Dufty, Gloria Swanson's widower. Dirk tells all about his bout with prostate cancer, the macrobiotic diet that brought him back to health, and his fabulous orgasms. I'm sharing everything, says Dirk. I guess so, but with who?
Thanks for being with us, Couri, and for all of that entertainment gossip.
Love is in the air. Yes, Cupid's been shooting his little arrows, and one of his latest targets is Albert Finney, who recently played the Pope on a TV movie. Albert has fallen for actress Catherine Harrison, granddaughter of Sexy Rexy, who's an actress and has appeared in both the London and New York productions of the play Nicholas Nickleby. Another arrow landed on Knots Landing star Donna Mills. She's got a new lover named Jeremiah Wilson. And Tony Curtis has not only fallen in love, he secretly married Andrea Savio, who helped him through his booze and drug rehabilitation. By the way, she's 21. That's 37 years younger than Tony. Boy, I'm glad he's back in shape. And Sam Elliott and Catherine Ross, who are expecting a baby in September, have also tied the knot quietly and privately. At least they'll be married before the baby arrives, which is more than Dynasty star Michael Nader and his live-in girlfriend Robin Weiss plan to do. Sorry, Robin. Naughty, naughty, Nader. Debbie Reynolds has grown up a lot since her disastrous marriage to Eddie Fisher, but she can still joke about it. In fact, during a recent appearance at New York City's Crazy Eddie record store, where she was plugging her new exercise video, Do It Debbie's Way, she pointed to the store's sign and said, "I was once married to that guy." Catherine Hicklin of TV's Capital married her beau, David Hasselhoff, and now they're both pumping up their beefy bodies. No, not in the bedroom. I can read your minds out there. In a gym. While they are both getting their not quite perfect forms into tip-top shape for upcoming posters, David's preparing to bear it all, well, almost all, for a new TV flick in which he plays Joan Collins' chauffeur and lover. It's called The Cartier Heist. Joan plays a flamboyant soap star. Now, there's a real challenge for her. Actually, it should be a gem of a film. Can we talk here? Joan Rivers, who usually borrows the stunning gems and outfits she wears on TV from friendly designers, treated herself to a pair of diamond earrings from jeweler Harry Winston. The cost a whopping $80,000. Hey, Joan, will you lend me an ear? Anthony Quinn gave New York City's restaurant an earful when he threw a fit after they gave away a table he'd reserved for Party 15. Broadway Zorba helped make the place famous by singing its praises to his friends, so naturally he quite correctly expected better treatment. But when he found out that his table was turned over early to another party just so the restaurant could pick up a few extra bucks, he blew his stack in several languages. What a Greek tragedy. Michael Jackson's certainly not Greek, but he thinks it's a tragedy that a lot of people were offended by his Thriller video. And he's vowed to his fellow Jehovah's Witnesses that he'll never do another like it again. That's too bad. I loved it. Seems they were upset by all the ghouls, goblins, skulls, and blood, and bodies rising from the grave. Don't they know that ghouls just want to have fun?
I'll pretend I didn't hear that, Couri. But what are you going to have for us next time?
Martha, we all know by now where the boys are, but I'll tell you where the girls are that starred in the original 1960 movie.
I'll look forward to that, Couri. Wasn't Connie Francis in that movie?
Yes, Martha, along with Yvette Mimieux, Paula Prentice, and Dolores Hart. Come back to me. Wishing you good gossiping. This is our Couri Hay reporting from Hollywood.
Thanks, Couri. You know, some of the best movies made often show up as remakes several decades after they were originally released, like Lana Turner and John Garfield starring in the 1946 version of The Postman Always Rings Twice. And in 1981, Jessica Lange and Jack Nicholson repeated the roles of the misguided lovers. Well, our Couri Hay is about to bring us up to date on the four girls from the original Where the Boys Are. Well, where are they, Couri?
Martha, the new version of Where the Boys Are is simply disastrous, as is the fate of some of the girls who starred in the original 1960 camp classic. Dolores Hart traded in her bikini for a nun's habit and is leading a very cloistered life in Connecticut. Paula Prentice, who suffered a nervous breakdown a few years after she made the film, is married to actor-director Richard Benjamin and still acts occasionally. Yvette Mimieux, who also does the film now and then, has just split from her husband, director Stanley Donen. And Connie Francis, who warbled the film's title song, is bouncing back from her much-publicized rape, the murder of her brother, bouts with mental illness, and plans to make another comeback next fall. No doubt you've heard about Shirley MacLaine's fabulous 50th birthday party at New York City's Club Limelight. Pals on hand to celebrate included Peter Allen, whose balding head has suddenly sprouted hair, confided to me that he's just finished the last song for his upcoming $5 million Broadway musical about Gangster Legs Diamond. Also there was Tatum O'Neal, who's taking after her Papa Ryan's girlfriend, Farrah you-know-who, and is going legit. On the stage, that is. She's reading scripts and hopes to do a play soon. Shirley told me she really wanted to spend her big day on top of a mountain, but since she was in New York City doing her smash Broadway show, for which she will receive an astronomical $3 million in just 7 weeks, she settled for a few hours at the top of a Manhattan mountain, a skyscraper, where she had a perfect penthouse view. Shirley's birthday isn't all that happened 50 years ago. Claudia Colbert, who won an Oscar for her performance in It Happened One Night with Clark Gable. The Film Society of New York's Lincoln Center recently paid tribute to Claudette, who's France's most treasured gift to New York City since the Statue of Liberty. And they raised $100,000 in the process. The sprightly 80-year-old superstar looked incredibly sleek and chic in a red dress with a ruby and diamond pin. She told me she was concording to London the next day to team with 76-year-old Rex Harrison for the revival of the Comedy of Manners, Aren't We All? Between them, that adds up to 156 years of talent on the stage. Let's hope we'll be seeing them on Broadway next year. Priscilla Presley has sold her tell-all autobiography about her life with Elvis, and the publisher promises to have it on the stands by November. The sensation-strewn book, which includes daughter Lisa Marie's unexpected visit to Elvis 2 weeks before his overdose, and Priscilla's premonition of his death, was all penned by Priscilla. Next time, I'll tell you how Oscar winner Jack Nicholson made monkeys out of his critics. Come back to me. Wishing you good gossiping. This is our Couri Hay reporting from Hollywood.
Well, I wonder what Jack did. We're just going to have to wait and see.
The guru, our Couri Hay, has word of the humorous way Jack Nicholson got even with some of his critics. Want to know what he did? Couri?
Here's the scoop. Jack Nicholson won an Academy Award for his role in Terms of Endearment, but his critics haven't always been so kind to him over the years. Jack, ever the Joker, dropped into New York City's Serendipity restaurant, which doubles as a chic boutique, and had them send a dozen sets of their teakwood see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil monkeys to some of his favorite critics around the country. And there are some other critics in the news. Tammy Grimes had some naughty words for top network executives after they criticized and nixed the TV commercials she'd done, which advocated breast checkups for women. The ads, which featured Tammy's smoky voiceovers and visuals of nude women by such great artists as Gauguin, Rubens, and Botticelli, proved too racy for them. Come on, fellas, grow up. Here's Johnny. Mr. Carson's been spending a pretty penny on his girlfriend, blonde beauty, 33-year-old Alexis Mass. He's taking her everywhere with him. In fact, they just spent a romantic getaway weekend in San Francisco. He's also lavishing her with expensive gifts, including a $300,000 luxury condo in California. And he surprised her with all 18 sexy swimsuits he spotted in a recent issue of Sports Illustrated. I wouldn't be surprised if Miss Mass becomes the next Mrs. Carson. Meanwhile, insiders predict that he and his estranged wife, Joanna, will finally settle their divorce out of court. And although she certainly won't end up penniless, I predict she'll get considerably less than the $25 million I think she deserves. The millions of fans asking for the famous TV commercial in which a certain sweet old lady wonders, where's the beef, will have to wait a while before they can see it again. Wendy's hamburger chain has put the popular ad starring feisty Clara Peller on the back burner while it features a new ad campaign, but promises that she'll be back. By the way, Clara, who's under contract to Wendy's for a meaty $250,000 and was discovered at her manicure shop, is so hard of hearing that a crew member had to hide under the table and tug on her skirt to cue her before she could utter the now immortal line. Joan Collins has recovered from a horrifying experience she had on the set of her new TV movie, The Cartier Heist, while filming a bedroom scene. No, it wasn't the sight of her scantily clad co-star David Hasselhoff. She handled that just fine. A spotlight high above the set exploded, showering her with thousands of bits of glass over her and the bed she was in. Luckily, she escaped serious injury, but refused to do the scene until protective gels were placed over all the lights. And as you know, whatever Joni wants, Joni gets. And why not? On Tuesday, I'll tell you how Boy George reacted to a bad review of one of his USA concerts. Come back to me. Wishing you good gossiping. This is our Couri Hay reporting from Beverly Hills.
Thanks, Couri. Our Couri Hay. And Couri, you said you were going to tell us about some plans that John Denver has that goes far beyond a Rocky Mountain High. What's he want to do?
Martha, John is telling friends that he wants to be the first non-professional astronaut in outer space and hopes to fly a space shuttle mission when NASA opens its doors to civilians in 1985. He's so serious about it that he's even begun his own training program to prepare for it. John jogs daily and is on a strict high-energy diet. He's planning to take his guitar along so he can write a song about his outer space face experience. Back on Earth, another John, Dukes of Hazzard heartthrob John Snyder, has just turned 30 and says he doesn't want to be known as a teen idol anymore. He wants to do leading man roles, and to ensure a good part, he's writing his own screenplay with the help of a do-it-yourself book. Even if his series ratings continue to be high, John says he'll leave the show at some point to pursue the movies and a singing career. In fact, he's just signed a deal with MCA to record some country and western songs. Look out, Willie Nelson. Well, we'll see. Joan Rivers is going to be a cover girl. No, not for Popular Mechanics, for a new parody of Cosmopolitan called Cosmo Parody. Joan moans that she has no boobies, but the magazine publishers think she's just perfect for their cover. She'll get top treatment from the world's greatest makeup artist, Way Bandy, who does many real Cosmo covers. Watch for it on newsstands next September. The love bug has been getting around a lot lately. The star of the exciting adventure film Romancing the Stone, Kathleen Turner, is being very hush-hush about her new fiancé, but I can tell you he's not in show business. Neither is Debbie Reynolds' newest hubby-to-be, Richard Hamlet, a wealthy real estate man from Roanoke, Virginia. Diana Ross has always had a love affair with the silver screen, but now she won't have to worry about remembering her lines when she stars in Silence, her first film in 6 years, because she won't have a word of dialogue. Diana will play a mute who's romantically involved with a rich white man from Chicago's North Shore. I hope for Diana's sake that Silence is golden, at least at the box office. Golden-haired Carol Channing, who's famous for never having missed a performance during her entire 36 years on the stage, was forced to break her amazing track record last week. Everyone's favorite Dolly, who's 63, came down with an acute case of laryngitis halfway through her opening night performance of the musical revue Jerry's Girls in Connecticut. A stubborn and determined Carol said the show must go on, but her concerned doctor insisted that she be hospitalized immediately or face the risk of losing her voice for a whole month. Get well soon, Carol.
Oh, Couri, I hope you keep us posted on her progress. And what are you going to have for us on Tuesday?
Martha, I'll tell you why Boy George threw a temper tantrum in Detroit. Come back to me. Wishing you good gossiping. This is our Couri Hay reporting from Hollywood.
Thanks, Couri. And